Hello, my loves, and welcome to Monique and Sidney's Open Relationship. We know we normally do the show on Thursdays, but since I'll be traveling, we had to do the show today because y'all know some shit that popped off once again because I said that I would not throw Roseanne Barr under the bus.
But first, we must welcome them to Monique and Sidney's open relationship, baby. How are you doing
You
today?
know what, Daddy?
Because no, such fervor, such thirst to get into it. I appreciate it. I do.
Welcome, everyone.
Come on.
Welcome, my loves. Welcome to Monique and Sidney's Open Relationship. Today, the show is going to be, as some would say, fire,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Lit, right? Turn up.
Right.
I'm using all the slang shit,
Right.
okay? But today is one of those shows that is necessary. And we must discuss it, we must talk about it because right now, the state of affairs is really crazy, especially when it comes to racism. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Monique and Sidney's Open Relationship. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, Monique, this is calling Alabama.
Hey, baby, Alabama. So, you know what the topic is, right? Black or white, wrong or right.
Yeah, let me talk to you.
And we're discussing the Roseanne Barr situation.
Yeah,
And when I was on KTLA in California, I said that I would not throw my comedic sister or my universal sister away.
yeah.
And since I've said that, baby, I've been called coons, sellouts, you name it, I've been labeled it because I know that woman's heart. And that's what the show is about today. You got a comment?
Yeah, I just want you to right, and you're doing what you feel is right, and normally in life, it's about decisions. Not decisions we make in our mind, but decisions we feel in our heart. And you're making a great decision about what you feel in your heart.
Thank you, my baby. We love you, brother. And that's important too. That baby say, you got to do what's in your heart.
That's right.
You got to do what you feel is right.
And some are saying that where was she when you were going through everything? She never spoke up for you. So why are you speaking up for her?
Yes. Yes. Well, let me address that. Because folks are saying, oftentimes we speak about things we really don't know what we're talking about, right? And we'll take a snippet or a clip and we'll go from there and we'll judge a person's whole character on a snippet or the clip. And when I say that, I know that woman's heart. I know her heart. And when y'all say, Mo, she didn't show up for you when you were going through it for Netflix, or why are you showing up for her? See, she showed up for me when I called on her. When I called on that woman, when we had the Monique show on BET, and we called Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr did not say, oh, well, let me have my people give you a call back. Roseanne Barr did not say, you know I don't fuck with black people like that, so I definitely can't come, because that's BET, Black Entertainment Television, and you a black woman. Baby, you know I don't get down like that. That's not what she said. What she said was, I'm show up for my girl, because that's my girl, and I'm on my way. Not, let me give you the number to my people, so I can have my people call your people. Not, well, I'm going to have to get back to you. It was, when and where do you need me?
And please take in consideration, all you have to do is remember the Monique show and look through it and see some of our prominent black folks who did not come through. And then you see some of the individuals like Snoop Dogg who had made a formal statement about y'all got to come out and support folks, because we understand what the agents, what the managers are telling you, because there were black folks that were told, don't come on that black show.
Don't come on that black show.
And if there were black folks that were told that, you know the white folks were told that too. And guess what Roseanne did not do?
Guess what she did not do? She didn't stay away. She showed up. Now here's what I want to share with y'all that you didn't get a chance to hear, or you didn't get a chance to understand why I stand with my sister in comedy. And someone says, why are you calling her your sister in comedy? Because she is. We do the same damn thing. We get up on a stage, we express our opinions, and some people like it, some people don't. That is what comedians do. Some of us. Some of us are afraid to express how we feel and what we think may be funny, or we too scared of the backlash. But real comedians take their talent and they use it. That's what Roseanne Barr has done and continues to do. So when y'all say, why do you call her your sister? Because she is. Now I want to address some of y'all saying, but she's a racist, she's a racist. Would a racist encourage a black woman? Would a racist encourage a person of color if that racist is only for white? If that racist person only says, I only deal with white people and I don't deal with nobody of no other color, no other nothing, I'm only going to deal with white. Would this white racist woman make it her business to come on this black woman's show?
When you know she was told not to.
Now, there are some black folks, and I want us to be clear, there are some black folks. At the time, we needed star power on that show. And there are black folks that called me up and said how we needed to stick together and we need to unify and we need to make sure we don't let this show go down the drain. And then when we called on those black people that called us up to make those statements, they never returned the call. Or the call was put off to their people. And their people just happened to be white people. And then they told us they were too busy. Their schedules were too booked. So, again, that sister showed up. Now I want to share a conversation with y'all when the cameras weren't rolling that Roseanne Barr had with Monique. Roseanne Barr said to this black woman, when the cameras weren't rolling, listen, Monique, don't you let them use and abuse you. You are the real fucking deal. And when you're the real fucking deal and you look like you, they will try to take sheer advantage of you. Don't let them do that to you. Make sure you stand your ground. Make sure you let them know that you are not the one they're going to use up and abuse up. She said, now I'm telling you right now, when you let them know they can't use you up, they're going to call you a bitch. They're going to say you're difficult. They're going to say all of that shit about you. But what I am telling you is, I'm going to need you to stand your ground, and I'm going to need you to always know that you are the real fucking deal. Now, if that woman was a racist, why ever would she have that conversation with me?
And the question one would ask is, if you don't have a problem with what we construe as being the truth being told about her as it pertains to what she said about Valerie Jarrett,
Yes.
then why would you ever have a problem with the truth being told about what she told to Monique, or what she stated to Monique regarding the uplift that she gave her at a time when people speak eloquently and they say false things that they want you to believe as truths in front of the camera. But she said this to Monique when no one was around to applaud her.
No one.
Who would do that?
No one. And I want to address this, but let me take this call first because the phones are ringing off the hook. Let me take the call. I'll be okay, baby. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, Monique.
Hey, baby.
I'm from Big Macon, Georgia. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Talk to us, baby.
Oh, I just want to say I love you so much. You have, as a black man, you have brought me so far with confidence. Oh, no, I can't believe I'm on that hot. Ooh, oh, my God. I want to say I always stuck with you through this whole situation. And I ain't never like Netflix. Anyway, it's too high. But, oh my God, I can't believe I'm lying with you. Oh God.
Well, baby.
Share with us what you're thinking. Because if that's your thoughts, we appreciate that.
Oh yeah, because I always was on Monique's side. Through it all. I ain't care what nobody said. I knew Monique was always right. I'm going to stand with her 100%. Always.
Brother, I'm going to tell you why I love you, baby. Because what you're saying is, I'm not a fair weather friend. What you're saying is, you know what? There may be times that I may not agree with Monique, but I'm not going to drop her off. And that's what loyalty, friendship, and love is all about. And that's the conversation we're having today, y'all, my loves. It's about loyalty, friendship, and love. And let me ask y'all this question, and thank you so much, my baby, for calling in. Y'all are saying this woman called her an ape, a gorilla. She didn't call her anything. Let's look at the tweet. She tweeted what she tweeted, right? And a lot of us got a problem with that. But how many of us had a problem when a black man named Charlemagne the God called a black woman a donkey? How many of us lost our minds? How many of us said we're outraged? How many of us went through that? A lot of us said, oh, Charlemagne is right. Monique need to shut up. She's a donkey. So is it okay if we call each other donkeys, gorillas, apes, monkeys? When it's us calling each other that, that's okay?
Furthermore, again, despite what someone may say, and they say that Roseanne has a history of saying things that are racist, the question that I would ask is would it make you upset if you also found out that she had a history of not being a racist?
Come on.
Would it make you comfortable if you were to hear her prior to all of these things transpiring regarding her in an interview with an individual where she's clearly speaking up on behalf of, in this instance, the black promoter? Because we received a call from a friend who said what y'all should do to further hear the truth about how she gets down is listen to an interview she did on her radio show. Just go on YouTube, Roseanne, with a gentleman by the name of Leonard Rowe. And if any one of you are familiar with the history of Hollywood, he's one of the rare rebels that spoke up in reference to the racism associated with Hollywood. And she agreed with him as a black promoter that it was difficult and they kept her away from the black promoters. The only thing I'm thinking is that's not indicative of an individual who is a racist to communicate and have a conversation where she's agreeing with someone who is of color about the bias towards black people who are promoters in this game versus having the opportunity to promote white artists. How do you explain that, and why would we not share that if it's the truth, like we'll share what she said to someone as it pertains to Valerie Jarrett? Why should we keep that a secret? If she says something that was racist, let's identify that.
Could we?
Let's identify that. However, to make a person a racist, and when you call a woman like Monique a coon, you call her crazy because she's standing up to a company like Netflix for racial bias, but then months later, they have to fire their bigwigs, one of them, for saying the word nigger twice, okay? Then, after that's taken place, she's speaking up in reference to Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels, deeming her as being difficult because she wouldn't promote a movie that she was not contractually obligated to promote. Which, if she was the sellout and the coon, she would have comfortably said, even though I'm not obligated to do anything for you, for the fear of being blackballed by you guys for not doing something I'm not contractually obligated to do, I'm gonna do it because I know my place. What she's saying is I'm not part of the plantation mentality. And being part of the plantation mentality also means that just because we as people of color have been wrong historically by whites, that does not mean that you condemn all whites because they may have said something that could be construed as racist if you happen to have seen them behind closed doors and know that that's not true.
You know, I want to address our brothers and sisters that are in a place of, we don't give a fuck, Monique, she just white.
Right.
And we don't give a fuck if she just white, let her suffer. Unless our black asses is willing to go somewhere else, we've got to intertwine with each other. We've got to intertwine with each other. So do we continue to throw each other away, or do we say, all right, y'all, let's sit down and have some real conversation about this? And when you say, yeah, but she said some racist shit, what comedian has it? Let me put my hand up. And we didn't think it was being racist. We said, goddamn, it was funny. It's the shit that we are too afraid to say because we can't get labeled. But as comedians, we say the shit that people really want to say, and we're not looking at it and say, oh, I'm trying to be racist. I'm trying to fuck them up. I think that it's funny.
And did you know that she is sincerely saying, I did not know Valerie Jarrett was black. And if you look at Valerie Jarrett, everybody is not going to construe her as being an African American woman.
Let me say this to y'all, because I talked to my sister. I'm not going to backpedal. I'm not going to waver. And see, she is my sister in comedy because black or white, Roseanne Barr opened up more doors for women that were funny, that said, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say what I want to say. Black or white, Roseanne Barr helped push that door open. So she is my sister in comedy, and she is my universal sister, period. I'm not backpedaling from that. Because what happens is when you start backpedaling, then people say, well, damn, we really can't trust your word because you say this and you say that. I'm not wavering. I'm not wavering from what I am saying about Roseanne Barr. Because if you ask any comedian, ask any of us, have we ever said shit on that stage? Have we ever said shit that we thought was funny and somebody said, oh shit, that wasn't funny? This past weekend I was in California. Now y'all know how I get down for the LGBTQ community. It's never been a secret. Y'all know how I love that community, baby, because they loved on me. But somebody that came to my show said that I was homophobic. A black woman. Monique is homophobic and I'll never go see her again. And she was stereotypical and she was saying shit about black women and there was white people in the audience. Well, the shit I was saying wasn't a lie. So were we messed up because it was white people in the audience hearing what I was saying about how we can be at times? Were you messed up because I was saying how I could be at times as a black woman because there were white women there? Because I also said shit about white women. So when you walk away with, oh Lord, Monique is homophobic because I'm telling a joke, again, we took what Roseanne said and we said, oh my God, she's a racist. And she thought that woman was white. Now let me tell you how I know she thought she was white. Roseanne Barr called me and we talked yesterday for about an hour. She said, Monique, I really thought that woman was white. She said, never would I call no black woman an ape. I know that that is shit that is so far out there. She said, I really thought that that woman was white. I said, Rose, you know you got to give an apology, baby, for real. She said, I know, Mo, but I'm telling you, I really thought she was a white woman. Now let me ask y'all a question. If Valerie Jarrett was a white woman, would y'all be fucked up? Would we be going through all of this right now if she was a white woman and a white woman said that? Would we be going through it?
And furthermore, we live in this pseudo-Christian society where everybody's religious and everybody's talking about love and everybody's talking about forgiveness. But you tell Monique again, she's crazy for going against a network, but y'all are quick to take down an individual. You don't want to hear the truth. See, love, forgiveness, and understanding in the society that we live in seems to be something that is designed for people who don't need it.
Come on.
Because the moment you need it, because if you in the church, they might disfellowship you because you are underage and you got pregnant.
Come on.
That's the time people need you most. See, they might turn that back on you because you did go out, you did do something that you were not supposed to do because you are a human being. That is the time that love should be imposed upon you. Forgiveness, understanding, but love is something that is eloquently articulated that we should do, but when you watch it being done, you in the midst of seeing someone give love to someone that has no dog in the fight. And the most interesting thing of all is we believe that because she did not come out and speak up for Monique when Monique was asked about it, she was supposed to stay silent. These are the things that allow us, despite someone saying, but y'all gonna be loving to the poorhouse, we might be. But we will be with love versus you're not in the poorhouse, but you've got no love. Whose quality of life is better?
Come on.
You be the judge. But at the end of the day, I cannot help but stand and be utterly proud of a woman who, despite the fact that, no, Roseanne did not go out with a loudspeaker and talk up on behalf of Monique, but when Monique was confronted with, what do you think about that situation, she spoke about her, because in truth, we as human beings, with those of us who, many of you who are writing in must be without flaws. Those of you, I know y'all never said anything that could be construed as racist. Those of you who have the most vitriol to say about someone and quick to condemn someone the hardest when they make a mistake, those of you are the ones who would not understand why someone would say, but that's the time you're supposed to love them. You can penalize them and do whatever you need to do, but that doesn't mean you don't acknowledge what they have done that's positive.
And let me speak on something about this ape shit. In my humble opinion, apes are beautiful, baby. In my humble opinion. But because we were told apes were ugly, we automatically say, don't you compare me to no ape. Apes are fucking beautiful. Have you seen an ape? Have you seen how they get down? Have you seen the beauty of a fucking ape? And how strong they are, and how unified they are, and how they take care of one another. Have we seen that before we get caught? Because now, what if she'd have said she looked like a fucking peacock? Well, we'd have said, oh no. What if she'd have said she looked like a giraffe? But because it's an ape, we got fucked up and we said, oh no, you don't compare us to no ape. If y'all want to compare my black ass to an ape, compare me.
And someone just said, I just Googled Valerie Jarrett. She does look like a white lady.
Right, so why we playing?
That's kind of like people saying, well, Monique, why are they saying you difficult and you not? Well, how can you be difficult for not doing a job for somebody you don't have a contract to do it with? If you want to overlook it, you can. But if you want us as black people, throughout our history here in America, without taking the time to really acknowledge, how many people do you know that will criticize you for being an ape, will walk on an ape and say what you want to do? Hands up. You're not going to do because they're strong, because they're beautiful, and what we've construed as being ugly and a reason to put our head down. It was like when black people were told you should go back to Africa, and it never dawned on us to say, but you should go back to Europe, because this is not where you're from.
Come on.
So at the end of the day, we can condemn what it is that Roseanne said, but in condemning what it is that she said, unless you know her in her entirety, it is difficult to call her a racist. Again, even though we are speaking in reference to Netflix and their bias, don't trust. Even though we're speaking about Netflix and that bias, we're not sitting there saying that everyone over at Netflix is a racist. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Robbie Prawl is a racist man. But what I will say is there's a level of bias that unfortunately is unconscious due to the way this country that we live in has been conditioning both black and whites throughout its long and storied history, that it could make him unconsciously be biased. But I'm not going to get on a soapbox and say what this man is in his heart. As we've talked about Tyler, Lee, and Oprah, what we've said about them, we love them. What we said is we love them. Now, understand what Monique said, if I had a dick, I would want all of them to suck it. This is not her saying it under this platform.
I was on stage.
This was her saying it on stage, and you must compartmentalize it. That would be like saying Al Pacino is really Scarface.
And let me address something too, Daddy, because, you know, when I got people, and this cat really makes me laugh, seed of Abraham, because you would think that he was the pastoral Jesus for the whole world.
Well, he is.
Well, he is. And you keep saying, well, I forgive Oprah and Tyler and Lee. Let me tell you something, so it's coming straight from my mouth. Of course. Of course. Did you hear that? Of course. Did y'all hear that again? Do I forgive my sister and my two brothers? Of course. We still got to deal with what's going on.
And it's difficult to forgive someone that has not asked for forgiveness.
Come on.
So they've not asked for our forgiveness. Tyler Perry, again, if you listen to the audio, has clearly stated that Monique was right. But people want to focus in on the fact that Monique, in their opinion, had not expressed herself in the way that they deem fit, and they're going to overlook the definitive fact that she was called out because she did something she was not contractually obligated to do. But that is an issue. So again, what you're doing is intellectually providing us with life layups. And let me explain what a life layup is. A life layup is when something is so simple that when life gives you a layup, make the shot.
Come on.
And the shot that we're making is this. If you watch the person being loving, even though they said something that could be construed as hateful, and someone asks you about your personal opinion, do you not reveal the loving aspect of what you saw about that person because the masses are trying to condemn them because of what they saw done that they deemed as not being nice? Do you keep it quiet, or do you play fair and say, listen, she may have said something that could be construed as racism, but what she is not is a racist. Tell me about the motivational speeches that white racists give to black women.
Tell me about them, seed of Abraham. Because tell me about the motivational speeches that you have given to black women, brother. Tell me about the time you pulled a sister to the side and said, let me talk to you, Mo. Tell me about that time, because every time you bring your black ass in this room, you got something to say that is not uplifting. Every time you come in this room, you have something to say as a black man, regardless as to what subject we're talking about. You have something to say that is not uplifting. When we speak about love, and that's all we're speaking about, is a thing called LOVE. And if I knew your ass, seed of Abraham, if I knew you personally, and I knew your character, and I knew that you had did something that was fucked up, and you didn't know how to say you were sorry, you didn't know how to pull it together, you like, Mo, I'm out there, baby, and I don't even know how to make it better. Do you think I should drop your ass off?
And when you use terms like seed of Abraham,
come on.
Okay, again, folks love to speak eloquently. They want to preach you the scripture. But is it only Jesus that should show that that love towards people? Is it only Jesus and the gods that we look upon as being the ones that can show that love? Because you going to church and y'all paying your money to these pastors on a regular basis talking about love and forgiveness. Now you watching it in full effect, and it's an issue?
Come on.
It's an issue. See, we're not talking about our love of Jesus, our love of Allah, and no against it. What we're saying is, listen, if these beings exist, they are part of the same nature that we are a part of as human beings. Do you understand? And if you are alive, if you exist, you are around to be loved. You are around to be hopefully understood and have some understanding, because seed of Abraham, when you title yourself what you title yourself, brother, you should be walking in a place of complete understanding, because you know that we as human beings were created and we were flawed. So oftentimes when we say we as human beings are flawed, but God was perfect, why would God create something that's imperfect if he had the ability to create something that was perfect? Or are we actually perfect and the imperfections in us make us that? But we as people, we choose to make ourselves or put ourselves in categories where we can somehow be superior, above. I might have said this, but I ain't never said that.
Somebody just asked Daddy, Monique, what do you do to be able to show this kind of love? Because I want to learn it. I'm going to tell y'all what I do. I talk to this man that's sitting right here. And when I called him, after I did that interview, and I was at the hotel, and we were, FaceTiming?
Mm-hmm.
And I told him what happened. My baby blew me a kiss through the phone, and he said, that's why you're my wife. And when I came home, and we were in the closet in our favorite place, that's our meeting place, and we were talking, and he said, Mama, had I said to you, you know what, you shouldn't have said anything. Even though I know that sister was there when you called on her, right now you gotta let her take that heat by herself, because she a white woman, and you shouldn't have said nothing. He said, I know that a little piece of your heart would have been broken, because you would have looked at me and said, you're not who you say you are.
You're not who I thought you were.
You're not who I thought you were. And let me tell y'all something else. Have I fucked up? Yes. I done fucked up in ways, baby, that forgiveness wasn't supposed to come my way. Have I said some shit out of turn, out of tune, out of order, out of line? Yes. And forgiveness didn't have to come my way. Was I in a situation where some shit was put out there about me that wasn't true, and people that I believed were my friends said, bitch, I gotta let you go. Her name is Kim Whitley. Her name is Cheryl Underwood. See, these are people that I know what it feels like.
And Kim Whitley is a person that thanked me for getting Monique and her back together because she said, I know I messed up.
And I said to my husband, I can't fuck with her, daddy. I gotta share the real shit with y'all. I can't fuck with her because she put me in situations that ain't cool. And my husband said, I know, mama.
Have a conversation with her.
Have a conversation with her. And then Kim Whitley goes to my husband and says, I want to thank you because I fucked up. And then I see that woman get on national TV and say, Monique need to go ahead. See, I fought for Cheryl Underwood when motherfuckers had nothing good to say about her. And that's still my sister. Then I watch her get on TV and say, oh, Billy Badass referring to my husband, and Monique need to just apologize. I stood with those black women, and those black women said, I need to go the fuck away. And they were my friends. So I know what it feels like, baby. I know what it feels like to be thrown the fuck away simply because I gotta go with what's popular. Bitch, you know the game. Well, I ain't a bitch like that. I don't go with what's popular. I go with what's right.
And that's what she said when she won the Oscar award. And that's what led to a level of heat because she's saying, listen, if you treat me fair and respectfully, whatever you need, I got you covered. But the moment you start talking down to me, you making me think that you think I'm less than. And if that's the case, I've got to show you that I'm equal to. I'm not going to try to pretend to be more than, but I'm damn sure not less than. So how about we going to shoot for being equal to? And for all of the individuals that are funny enough talking in reference to what Roseanne said that bothered them so much, what makes me laugh, and I can't get offended by it, is the comments that are being made that are not designed for constructive dialogue.
Come on.
It's just designed to say some smart shit, and if you're sensitive enough, it'll hurt your feelings. What we're saying is we're built for this shit. What we're saying is
Come on.
we are built for this from a standpoint that, listen, we're not trying to buy friends. We're not trying to buy followers. What we're trying to do is when we have and likes, what we're trying to do is have an open conversation that will begin the process of trying to change the world. Because you have a lot of people out here that are very quick to talk about love, decency, and the whole nine. And again, the moment you see it being exhibited, it's a problem. There are those who are asking, does that include Oprah? Does that include Tyler? Does that include Lee? Yes. What we're saying is we're not trying to call anyone out. We're trying to call them up. And do you understand why would a woman who does not have the resources that an Oprah, that a Tyler, that a Lee has collectively, stand in the midst of the square and say, I will take any one of them on to have a real conversation, but none of them show up? You think it's because they're taking a high ground?
Come on.
After you hear audio of Tyler Perry clearly saying that if I was you, Monique, I would want someone to speak up for me, then why won't you do it? And here's a brother that says, I'm a Christian. Well, when would Jesus speak up for somebody?
When?
But let's ridicule the one who was raped. Let's not go get the rapist.
Come on.
Okay? And I say that creatively. I say that from a standpoint like they raped her career and made her look like a bad person, all because she chose not to do something that she was obligated to do. And the same way we asked you to, folks went and looked at Valerie Jarrett and said, she looks like a white lady, so I can see what she's saying, is the same way we ask you this. If you work for a company and a new owner comes and buys the company that you work for, did they purchase your future services and the purchase price from the old owner?
Come on.
And the answer is no. If they want you as an employee, they have to renegotiate with you. They have to negotiate with you as the new owners for your services. What's the difference between Lionsgate, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey coming on board when Monique only had to deal with Lee Daniels Entertainment?
And Daddy, you know I gotta address some people.
Address
And this
them.
baby William D. that's in the room. William D., first we want to welcome you, sweetness, because I think this is your first time joining us. And you're putting things up there as if I'm going to go against it. He just put Lee Daniels as a genius. You right, baby. I think I may have been one of in the first group to say that black man is a genius.
Mm-hmm.
You put on there Will Packer as a genius. You right. Will Packer know how to get black people together for little or no money and make a whole bunch of money for the studio. That's genius.
Just look at his description.
That's how they describe him.
Hollywood producer known for taking low budget movies and getting high returns.
We don't get any of that.
Who gets the low budget and who gets the high return?
That's fucking genius, so you're right. Tyler Perry, genius. That baby took some plays and turned that shit into $1 billion business. That's genius. You are so right. So what you're saying, I can't go against, especially not when you're right. That's why we're talking about black and white, wrong or right. See, when you're saying something is right, we can't go against it. But what happens is, y'all want to fight so bad that the emotion got in the way and not the logic. See, I ain't never said nothing bad about them people. My stage show was my stage show. But I ain't never said nothing bad about my sister. And Oprah Winfrey, she's still my sister. Just like Roseanne. Now, if we really want to have a real conversation, over all the years that Oprah Winfrey was on TV, how many of us sisters sat on her couch? Want to have a real conversation? How many of our shows did she come on? She may have went on an Arsenio show. I don't remember seeing her. Do you? She may have. She didn't come on the Monique show. She sent Gayle King. So again, we want to talk about what's racist and what's not, but we'll have shit right in front of us and want to ignore it.
And again, the William D's of the world and the other folks that are saying what they're saying, you know what? You need them because they're the people that are kicking your tires to make sure that they are at the proper air pressure. They're the ones that make you say, listen, if I've got to fight against people who are going to support and question why am I speaking out publicly against a man that I have audio on saying that I was right? And why am I supporting a woman that they're calling a racist who clearly made comments to me that go against her being a racist? Where we heard an interview with her talking to a brother by the name of Leonard Rowe, speaking in reference to subjects that most people or a lot of people who would happen to be white would be afraid to speak up about because they are reaping the benefits of being white. So to speak up about the negative aspects of what it is to be a black promoter, how would that be beneficial to Roseanne?
How?
Why would she say such a thing, and how could it benefit her?
Would a racist care?
Would a racist really care?
Like, would a racist give a fuck about a black promoter? Would a racist give a goddamn about black writers? Would a racist give a damn about a fat black woman from Baltimore, Maryland, that she's saying, let me talk to you for a minute? See, I told Roseanne, I said, when I was on the stage this weekend,
Yes.
I told them, I said, that bitch is from a fucking trailer park. She trailer park trash, and that shit ain't coming. She bust out laughing, and I bust out laughing. Now, if I was being a racist, she would have said, oh, Monique, how could you call me trailer park trash? Because we two fucking comedians.
And she said it about herself before. And when you have a person that is self-defacing, as Roseanne is, okay, and you see she goes for it, she don't care. If she got an issue with black people, she got an issue with white people, okay? And everybody knows somebody like her. At the end of the day, all we're saying is, what reason? See, this is not a conversation where humbly Whoopi Goldberg had with Monique. And she said, had you called me up, I could have schooled you about the whole thing. And then, from my understanding, she's doing a movie with Tyler Perry. Monique is not doing a movie with Roseanne. Monique has no dog in the fight. The only dog in the fight that she has is her honor and integrity and her ability to sleep at night by being asked the true question and telling the truth. That a woman, she could easily say, I got an issue with what she said. I think she's a racist, but we're going to completely ignore the fact that she came at a time where there were those who were black people who did not come and show up and support her.
There was one black brother that called with urgency. Mo, we gotta stick together. We gotta be in this together. That's what's wrong with black people now. We don't stand together. And whenever you need me, because I know the Monique Show needs star power, sister, I'm gonna be right there for you. Don't you worry about it. And when I called that brother back, the calls went unreturned. But then when I watched Jay Leno, I saw my brother sitting on his couch where they had created a whole skit about the hair on my legs and how I talk to people. And my brother's name is Jamie Foxx.
And on the BET Award show,
We love Oprah. We scared of Monique. Now, I'm a comedian. So a bitch can take a joke. I can take a joke. But don't call me up with all of this staying together. And now when it's time to stand, you don't show. But you want to talk to me about Roseanne. See,
it's like, and because you called up and you said what you said and you elected not to come on the show, prior to this, nobody had a conversation in reference to having an issue with Jamie because he didn't do that. Hey, you never know what came up in his schedule. Maybe he was busy, couldn't make it up, the whole nine. But what we will say is this: if we can respect the fact that he didn't show up,
right.
if we can respect the fact that Oprah didn't show up, if we can respect the fact that there were many other individuals that didn't show up because they didn't have to show up, how can we not respect the fact that Roseanne did? Why would we overlook that? We're not going to fault Jamie. We're not going to fault anyone for not showing up. Because I'll tell you somebody else who showed up, which makes it crazy that if Monique is so difficult and there's such an issue, the only one who had the integrity to call and the decency, and that was Tyler Perry. See, he showed up on the Monique show.
Yes, he did.
So if there was an issue for real, why would he have shown up on the Monique show and at that time talking about Spike Lee calling his work buffoonery? And Monique trying to set a stage where they could come back and have that discussion on her show to get them back together. And then to be invited to plays and functions that Tyler Perry put on, but then to later find out that he's saying or asking, what was it like to work with Monique? And him saying that wasn't the experience he had. He had a difficult experience, only to later on in our conversation admit that he never had a difficult experience with Monique. So again, if we're gonna love and respect the people that did not come and show up and that did not support and didn't say anything that was encouraging, we still love them. But how do we forget and ignore and not love someone like Roseanne who did show up?
And see, I appreciate the brothers and sisters, black and white, and it's all over the world, and of all colors, that are saying, Mo, we appreciate you not backing down from that. We appreciate that you not backing down from what you believe. Because y'all, if I was fair weather, like a lot of us are, and fair weather means I just go with the wind. If this is popular over here, I'm gonna go over here. If it's popular over here, I'm gonna go over here. You gotta watch those kind of people, because what they're saying to you is, when it's your turn, you know I'm not gonna be with you.
And in addition to that, when people say, why are you standing with her right now? Because she didn't speak up for you. The universe is watching us.
Come on.
The universal energy that surrounds us is protecting us and is speaking up for us and making things transpire right now that we have no clue about, in our humble opinion. So it's not what someone has done for you. It is, are you going to do the right thing when you are called upon inwardly to do the right thing? Not outwardly, not where you guilted into doing something you did not want to do. But did the inward questions that you pose to yourself that make you question your character say, I've got to speak up on behalf of this woman, and I know we look different. I know it's what it is. I know I know black people are constantly spat upon, looked down upon, we killed, we wronged, and the whole nine. However, all we would say is, if somebody saw you in your best moments, be your best self, but you got caught out there in one of your worst moments, would you be offended, or would you appreciate if someone spoke out and also mentioned what you did that was right, if they're going to also mention what you did that they construed as wrong?
And I think too, Daddy, we've been in such a position, see, this even goes to our community. Snitches get stitches. So I know something wrong. I know Lil Leonard bust Miss Rita in the head, snatched her pocketbook, And I know that's little Calvin's mother. But snitches get stitches.
And at miles ahead, when you said, why don't you open up a church and let Monique get a real manager? Listen, the moment she can get her a real manager and want to get a real manager, get rid of me, listen, I welcome it. Because see, at the end of the day, what I signed up for is to create projects. But what happens is, in me becoming a manager, it's not for me being a manager. It's because you've got to watch individuals doing things that are not right. When you have Monique's first agent coming back to her after years, after close to a decade, saying that, you know what, I didn't know it at the time, but I was a racist, Monique, and I'm so happy that I've gotten an opportunity to speak with you in reference to it, and I haven't stopped thinking about you. Let me tell you what that says. What it says is there's a population of the community that are racist, but they're unknowing of the level of bias that they have. They have a level of bias that, unbeknownst to them, they learn that, and they weren't necessarily taught at a chalkboard. You should not like black people.
Come on.
But they can watch the way black people are spoken to learn that this is a level of bias that we can have. And in fact, they don't construe it as bias. This is just the way it is. Because guess what? When we as people of color receive it, guess what you say? Just let it go, Monique. That's just the way it is. You know they're not going to treat black women right. You know they're going to not be treated fair. You might as well just go ahead and keep it moving.
I want to answer you, Miles, with a smile on my face. When you asked me about getting a new manager, stay with me, Miles. I've had Hollywood managers. I want you to hear me. Top in the game. And not one of them were brave enough to go in and ask for what I rightfully deserve. Not my brother Steve, who was my manager, not the white manager I had, not the white agents I had. None of them were brave enough to go in and say, y'all know this is inequality. Y'all know this is not fair. Now, the white woman that my husband speaks about, who used to be my agent, let me tell you what she said to me, Miles. Where you at? I want you to make sure you stay with us. Because oftentimes when y'all start hearing the real shit, you get to run it. Stay with me now, Miles. Agent, I stopped being her client because I said to her, you are a racist. And the shit you're doing and saying, I can't deal with. And I walked away from that woman. Woo, black community would have been proud of me, baby. I was like, fuck that, I ain't gonna let you do that to me. I gotta cut you loose. I was going through my Instagram, about 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
And here pops up this little white lady's face with a message beside it and said, please give me a call, I would love to talk. And my husband said, Mama, call. And I called her. And when she answered the phone, she began to cry, as I did, because we really loved one another. And she said, Miles, I want to make sure you hear. She said, Mo, I don't have enough apologies. And everything you said about me was right, and I was a racist. I was just so conditioned to doing and saying what I was doing and saying. And then too, Mo, I was scared to go in there and fight for you and protect you because it was just what the culture was. So I didn't know how to do that. So I want to apologize for you. Hey, Miles, I'm glad you're here. I want to apologize to you, Mo. And let me tell you something about Sidney. I know Sidney's the best you've ever had. And let me tell you why he's difficult, Monique. Because he's a black man that walked into a room that's fucking intelligent. That's what makes him difficult, Monique. That's what makes him difficult. When she first met my husband and we first went to a meeting together and Sidney got to talking in that goddamn meeting, when we left out the meeting, she looked at my husband in her racist way at the time and said, I had no idea you could speak so intelligently. Now, at the time, I didn't have any tact. At the time, I didn't have that kind of love in my heart. And my response was, bitch, what you mean? And then it was my husband. I want you to hear me, Miles, that had to say, Mama, when people don't know, they simply don't know. But I still was caught up in, fuck that. She gotta go. And then after we talked, it's been 3 weeks since we've been talking. And every time we fucking get on the phone, she says this, she says, Mo, again, I gotta apologize because the more and more we talk, I realized just how racist I was. And I didn't even realize it because no one had ever checked it. And then once you checked it, I asked another friend of mine who was white. And she said, Bix, you're as racist as they come. She said, and I looked at her and said, well, Bix, you're racist too. So me and her went through a program that dealt with racism. She said, and Monique, when them black women set me in the middle of a fucking circle of nothing but black women and these women of color, she said, and here's my little skinny white ass that's so privileged, and they start throwing shit at me. She said, and Mo, when they start throwing this shit at me, I realized I'm a fucking racist. But what makes her beautiful is she was able to say it. Now, do I throw her away, y'all? Or do I know that that woman has a good heart? And I say, I love you. Apology accepted. Now let me apologize for some of my behavior. And we both said we loved each other. I'm not backpedaling from that. I'm not wavering from that. I love that white woman as I love Roseanne Barr, as those two white women love me back. Have we said some shit out of the way? Yes. Yes. If y'all come to any of my shows, baby, shit, I'm glad people see my heart.
But the reality is you don't love the white woman. You love the spirit that happens to be possessed inside of these women who just so happen to be white.
Come on.
And when we get into the black and white thing, we've got to see beyond it, because there is a powerful group of people that are trying to keep folks at odds with black and whites. And if you go on your everyday job, if you go out there in the community and your kids are on the team with other kids that happen to be white, and you notice that those kids' parents are cheering for your kids just like they cheering for theirs, let the coach say something. At the end of the day, there's so many people out here that ain't got no time to be dealing with the black and white issue, because if it was about black and white, then Tyler Perry black ass would have went and spoke to Lionsgate and said that this black woman was right for taking the position that she has taken. Let's get things right between us, because she's done nothing wrong, like he said on audio, and let's move forward. And we as black people, Oprah, Lee, and Tyler, we would collectively come together and say, listen, don't put us up on no pedestal. Don't make us seem like we more, or we gods, or we deities. We human beings. We made a mistake. We let it fall by the wayside, but we want to acknowledge the mistake that we made, and we want to move forward. What that would do for our community is why we're having this conversation. Those are called teachable moments. And that's why we're saying we're calling people up. We're not calling them out. And when is somebody in the media going to be courageous enough to say, well, why won't Lee Daniels say specifically what Monique did that was difficult?
Why?
Why is no one asking for any specifics? Oh, she wouldn't. Well, ask her, was Monique obligated contractually to promote this movie? So when you have a person that folks weren't beating down the bushes to speak on her behalf, it's the reason why when she's in a position to speak on someone's behalf, it doesn't matter if she's black or white. See, what y'all don't know is on the movie of Almost Christmas, there was a gentleman by the name of Dave Tauber who was a director. And there's a gentleman by the name of Will Packer who is a producer. And again, we love Will Packer, believe that he's a good dude in the heart of who he is. However, in the midst of that production, he was given direction to a black woman by the name of Monique when the director, Dave Tauber, was supposed to give it. And she had to say to him, don't disrespect this black man, because he is a director. You are the producer. I've never in the history of my life as an actress taken a note from a producer over the director. Don't start it now, because you wouldn't do it if it was Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, or some other white director. This is what you don't know about behind the scenes. Y'all trying to knock a person that Lee Daniels is a man that the movie Precious cost $10 million because they had to shut the production down because there happened to be a gentleman who was Caucasian who happened to be giving Lee bad light. And Lee kept fixing it, and he said aloud in Monique's earshot, I'm gonna do it the way I wanna do it. And she brought it to Lee's attention, and subsequently he had to shut the production down because he knew it was being sabotaged. You're not hearing those stories. You're not hearing about the stories when Lee Daniels approached Monique and said that they were gonna be flying Gabourey Sidibe coach all the way to the Cannes Film Festival, and she said, Lee, if you don't pay for her to get there first class, we big women, we can't be flying coach that far. See, y'all don't hear about these fights. So Monique is not just one that's going to stand for Roseanne. She's not one that's just going to stand for Dave. She's not one that's just going to stand for Gabourey. She's one that's going to stand for what's right. That's the difference. This is not prejudicial. I'm a sellout for right.
Come on.
Not for black or white. I'm a sellout. We're a sellout for right, but we can't get caught up into the color of the person. So you'll have to excuse us for being so dastardly, and Monique for being so dastardly.
Oh, now, Miles, don't bitch up. I'm sorry, Daddy. Don't bitch up with there's always a story with y'all. No.
And you see my wife, she
I'm
she
sorry,
wild.
Daddy.
No. You see she wild. So you see she wild. She's on pro. No. You see she's wild, and she gets caught up in the fact that you she is so honest and real that when she sees a lie transpiring, it annoys her. I, unlike her, am not bothered by that. And the reason being is because you're not comfortable enough dealing with what is the truth. You're comfortable with pushing how bad we are. And if that's the case, the only thing someone would ask you is, how strange are you to spend an hour of your life on our platform telling us all of what we are not? And when you have a person that can answer that question, you get to find out all of what they are not, because you obviously don't have a life if you are seeing people having positive conversation about things without trying to shoot people down. What type of person are you?
And when y'all say, oh my God, let Monique speak, bitch, you know I got a big mouth. See, I asked my husband years ago to do this. And he said, Mama, that's not what I do. And I said, no, Daddy, the world needs to hear you. Because for the brothers and sisters saying, let Monique speak, the message that he was giving and still gives saved my life. And I know I'm not unique. I know I'm not the only black woman that at times you can't tell us shit. I know I'm not the only black woman at times that my ego's so fucking big. I'm not the only black woman at times that I can't go of yesterday. I'm not the only black woman at times that just get mad because I want to fucking be mad and don't know what the fuck I'm mad about. But it was this man sitting next to me that was able to break through that sickness. He was able to break through my mental illness. He was able to break through my eating disorder. He was able to break through all of that shit to make me deal with me. Now, for those of you who keep wanting to say, oh, it's your husband, bitch, it is my husband. Let's be clear. It is my husband, the best one I've ever had. It is my manager, the best one I've ever had. He is my children's father, the best one they've ever had. So let me be very apologetic about it.
I'm the only one that ever had that.
Well, okay, nigga, I got another child.
Okay, then. All
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Well, I'm the only child, but I'm Uncle Sidney.
Well, you are shit.
Okay.
Okay, well, you still Uncle Sidney now. But it's the best I've ever had in my life. And I know what it's done for me. And see, I'm an old unselfish bitch. I want to share. I want to say, y'all, if you listen to the words and you get out of your fucking feelings, you'll hear it. And it'll penetrate. For me losing this 100 pounds, this wasn't about Hollywood. This wasn't about no fucking gold-plated trophy. This wasn't about me being accepted by them. This was about this man saying, hey, if you keep going like you're going, you won't be here for us. And I want you for a lifetime. So for all of you sisters and brothers that's saying, drop them off. Oh, he's fucking it up. You believe in your man? Who you got? Who you got? You believe in your wife? You believe in your family? Will you fight to the end if you know shit ain't right?
And at the end, when you say that it's my fault, I will take the blame that it's my fault, that I have the nerve to go back and ask them for what Monique is asking me to ask them for.
Like I'm an old scared bitch now and I can't talk for myself. That's what your manager do.
Right. You know, so if she's asking me to do something, I'm gonna do it because it's something associated with this business. And by some chance, if it was something, pardon me, that didn't make sense, we would have to have that conversation because we don't walk around just blindly doing things without considering the ramifications of what it is. And even when we're dealing with the ramifications, or Monique dealing with the ramifications of saying she supports Roseanne, that's one of those ones that, again, it's a life layup. It's so easy that we have to make the shot to say, listen, we're not going to get caught up because of so many people of color who have been mistreated that we'll take this opportunity to mistreat this woman, even though we know some things that are about her that contradict the narrative of her being a racist.
I gotta say this too, Daddy. And Roseanne, I'm gonna get back to you, my baby, but it took a turn. Pretty Princess, I think that's your name. Pretty Princess. You say my fans want to hear me. And I appreciate that, baby. And I don't like calling y'all fans because that's short for fanatic, right? I like saying a family. They want to hear me. I love y'all so much, little sister, that no one could break through my layers. No one. Not my mother, not my father, not my biological brothers, not my biological sister. No one was able to break through, especially not when you a boss bitch. You hear me? Now, since I was a little girl, always had a big mouth. This ain't no new shit. This hole in my mouth ain't no new shit. Always had it, right? Always felt like you couldn't tell me nothing. I was just that kind of kid, wasn't I? Even in coming up. I was that. I had my shit on lock. Then shit got to spiraling. And when it got to spiraling, well, because my mother and father was used to getting a check from me, fuck it, we ain't gonna check her. Because my brother and sister, they was getting money from me. Fuck it, we ain't gonna check her. But this one right here had to say to me, you know I don't give a fuck about that money. You my friend. You my friend. And when we were kids, we promised each other we would always say what we needed to hear, not what we wanted to hear. And God damn if he ain't kept his word. So my pretty princess, I oftentimes understand why it's hard for a black woman to listen to a black man, because we've not seen that in our lifetimes. Oftentimes what we see is mommy don't have nobody. Grandmommy didn't have nobody. My aunties, I'm not saying all, I'm saying often. We didn't see those type of relationships, so they look unfamiliar to us. Again, I'm not saying all, I'm saying often. See, my mother and father were together for over 53 years, but I watched two people not be in love. I watched them. I watched my mother say to me, and my father in so many words, we just together because we together. Now I know my biological brothers and sister would be like, bitch, why are you saying that? Because y'all know it's true. I didn't watch my mother and father have each other's back. I didn't watch none of my aunts have husbands and they had each other's back. I didn't watch neither one of my grandmothers have husbands and they had each other's back. My mother's mother, I never saw her with a man at all, and any man she talked about, he wasn't shit. And my father's mother, I saw her with her husband, but he wasn't shit. So now what happens? When we find someone, for me, that I say, I've never seen anything like this. And I want to share the information. So pretty princess, I don't want you to think for a second that I'm being controlled and Monique can't speak for herself. Y'all know better than that. But what I am saying is, sometimes y'all know I like to put spicy shit in my shit. And then we stop hearing it. But my husband has a way of saying, Mama, you ever thought about it like this? So that's why when y'all say, oh, let him talk, oh, let Mo talk, I like to listen. Because as I listen, I'm learning too.
And William D., we love you, brother, because anybody who can spend a whole hour of time speaking as negatively as you spoke doesn't need to be chastised or ridiculed. You need to be loved.
That's all.
And we're going to give you the same love that we're trying to speak to folks about in reference to why we had to say what we said, while Monique had to say what she said in reference to Roseanne, because all she did was spoke the truth. She ain't been with this woman all her life to know the ins and the outs, but what she's saying is this: how many racists do you know that give encouragement to people that are black. Because apparently, if in her doing so, apparently Roseanne truly is colorblind, because she must not have been aware that Monique was a black woman to have encouraged her in the first place.
She thought I was white.
So she thought she was right. She thought she was right, like Valerie Jarrett. So we had to speak about it, but Mama,
Yes, ma'am.
it's that time.
Y'all, we appreciate y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all for staying, because y'all could have done anything else. But y'all decided y'all wanted to spend this time with us, and we appreciate you for that. Tell a friend, tell another friend, then tell 10 more friends. And like my daddy always says, the mind is like a parachute.
It is no good unless it's open
We love y'all.
for free.
Mwah. Mwah.